Call the workshop in order for the Effingham County Board of Commissioners. It is now 4:07. One item on the workshop agenda, that's discussion on transition services and sanitation issues. City place to start either with the administrator or Vice Chairman. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, this has been a long time coming. I do want to thank a couple of people, especially Ms. Fiona, our purchasing director, that worked very hard during the process of selecting a new sanitation company. And I think we're all very excited that we did this. So thank you, Ms. Fiona. Today we're going to present to you the transition plan and some of the documents that Atlantic Waste has prepared for us for this transition. And I want to introduce to you, I know everyone's probably met him already, but Mr. Ben Wall is the CEO of Atlantic Waste, and we're happy to have him and his team here, and I'll let him take it from here.
Councilman and Chairman, thank you all very much for this opportunity to kind of update you where we are on the transition of waste service providers to Atlantic Waste. First of all, thank you for the opportunity again. We're real excited about it. And, you know, it's kind of the dog that caught the car. And here we are, we've caught it, and now we're starting to chew on it. And we actually feel like we're, you know, after I started putting this together and compiling where we are, we feel like we're doing really well. And so I'm happy to tell you where we are and where we're going. There's a couple things that we need to talk about, and we have the forum now to, you know, ask the questions and make suggestions, because you are representing these residents. And if there's something that you don't like, or there's something that you want to do, now is a great opportunity before we print anything, before we finalize anything. We're still over 2 months away from when collection will start. So we've got plenty of time to do a lot of things. Some things we don't have time for, but you know, overall we've got plenty of time to make suggestions, corrections. So this is an open forum. I want you guys to, if you've got a question or a concern, I want you to just stop me right then and say, hey, y'all know me well enough to where I don't think you're interrupting me or anything like that. So just ask a question. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my team. I know some of you have met each other, but first off is Jeff Rees. Jeff is my controller, and he's helped me a lot with preparing all the documents for, you know, the bid process and everything. He's my money man, make sure we're going to be profitable. But he's very capable. He comes from Jacksonville, and he moved up here 2 years ago. The next fella to his left is Nick Millenbrand. Nick is going to be our route supervisor. Nick was born and raised in Effingham County. He's very happy to have the opportunity to serve all his neighbors. He's been getting some poor service, as I'm sure you all have heard, and I know even if Republic was here, they would know that they. Anyway, so Nick is looking forward to helping out his community. And then the next guy is somebody new that we brought on, but is no stranger to the garbage business. His name is Mike Casada. Mike is going to be our head of operations. You know, as we've grown as a company, we've seen to the point where there's jobs that are getting too big for Jeff and I. We can't handle business development, operations, finances, and then all the other things that we've got that takes to run a company of this size. After Effingham, we'll be over 100 employees. And so Mike was brought on board to kind of help, you know, shore up the operations side and make sure that we're providing the highest quality service that we can. So those are your team. And then somebody else who is not here is Adrian Osborne. Adrian is our head, I guess, route or residential liaison. She takes a lot of the phone calls. She's the one who says, hey, Nick, you need to go see this person, or takes up new service for other municipalities. Adrian is going to be head of new starts. So when you guys get a call for a new start, Adrian's the one who's going to be taking that call to get it dispatched to the cart delivery people, or to put it on the route for, hey, here's a new stop at McCall, or courthouse, or wherever it is that the new can is. But to go further deeper into where we're at, I'm going to start with a flyer that we were going to hand out. Now the flyers, the way this thing goes is we will have a set of 3 or 4 different sheets of paper. They will be in a plastic newspaper holder, like you see, you get the newspaper at your house. They'll be slid in, and it'll start off with a welcome letter. The welcome letter is basically saying, welcome residents of Effingham County. We'd like to thank you. Tells you a little bit about who we are, and just, says here's what we're going to be asking of you, the citizens. The next thing, which is the attention. We've thought about this, and thought about people when they get a brand new cart, the first thing they want to do is use it. And speaking with the folks at Republic, I have spoken to Ken, their general manager, and he asked me, what if they put your carts out? And I said, don't dump them. And same thing with me, I don't want to touch his carts. I know there's been some discussion about when y'all have had some of these, large misses about Atlantic Waste touching Republic carts, and we as a company do not touch other companies' equipment. It's just kind of like an unspoken rule that we don't touch front-end dumpsters, we don't touch roll-off dumpsters, and we don't touch recycling carts either. Now, in the interim, I know that y'all have had some problems, and y'all had to rent a truck from us, which, I know y'all have gotten a few phone calls, and Steve has, said, hey, he's got a guy who can drive. It's not a CDL truck, so anybody in this room can go drive that truck and pick up the garbage, and it'll hold, roughly about 300 homes. So it'll save you guys when you get these skips and misses and that sort of thing. And have y'all been using it? Jamie said that y'all have used it some.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad y'all are using it, and y'all are using it to your benefit. But anyway, what the main thing is, the attention is, do not use these carts until February the 16th. That is a Friday, I believe. That is Republic's last pickup day. And then it states Atlantic Waste will start picking up Effingham County on February the 19th, which is a Monday. The next thing is, it starts talking about, you'll start seeing 10 Atlantic Waste garbage trucks in January going through your neighborhoods. We're going to start in January learning the routes. That way we have a nice smooth transition on February the 19th. The guys have driven that route multiple times. My goal is at least 6 times. That's twice a day. They won't actually pick up the cans, but they will drive by the house 6 times. Okay, that's twice, on that route day. So like on a Monday, he'll drive the route twice. Then next week, he'll drive the route twice. And then the final week, drive the route twice. So he has it memorized that Monday, hey, this is where this little house is. You got to back up here. Or maybe that's not right. He can figure out after 2 or 3 times riding it, hey, there's a problem with this route. We need to change the way we do it. And they'll let us know as they go and do this. And this is why we practice. The next thing it talks about is, if you need an extra garbage or recycling cart, please call Atlantic Waste or Effingham County Solid Waste. Now put a question mark on that. How is it that people go about getting extra carts in service now? Laura, what do they do now?
An extra cart is $100 extra a year.
Okay.
And they have to pay that in advance.
Okay.
It's billed in advance, so they would have to come and sign up for that.
Okay, so they have to come sign up. So is
Unless
there
we figure out a different way to pay for it or receive funds for it.
Okay. Is there a way in which we can, I'm perfectly happy with that. One of the things is, Steve and I talked about it, right now in our agreement, we're charging $102 a year for an extra cart. And I think he said, hey, let's charge $105 so we cover our costs, and the extra $3, helps you know, with administering the billing and that sort of thing. So it's not like nobody's getting rich off of it. The county's not getting rich, but it covers its costs. So it's going forward, that was his suggestion. Now it's up to you guys if you want to charge more to cover your cost. You know, 110, I wouldn't go much over that, but that's up to you guys to make a call. But
What's the first cart cost?
the first cart costs with the whole program is $200 per citizen, is what y'all are charging. I think we're charging you like 186 or something. What is it? It's 15.
That's close.
It's 15 times 12, so I hate that I can't do that math in my head. 180. Yeah, 180. Okay, so so you're making a $20 spread there. But that doesn't cover y'all are also paying for, with that extra $20, you have to pay for all the front end cans that are in the county and the roll off when y'all do need roll off, and it pays that $40,000 for the person at the convenience center. So y'all are pretty much, you know, right at I hadn't done the direct math, but I mean,
But basically, our cost is going to consume that $20.
yeah, your additional cost that is not per resident, yeah, through the administrative, and so that's why I said it.
So we probably need to look, if you're charging us 105.
We're charging you 102.
Charging 102?
102, yes, sir.
We need to come up with a fee, what you're saying we need to charge, to make sure we don't get.
Yeah, you don't want to go in a hole, not to say that, I mean, you have somebody that doesn't pay the extra 102 and 1 year or something like that, it doesn't get recorded, or you know, you just want to make sure that y'all are covering your costs. And what Steve and I said is, hey, 102, or I mean 105 or 110.
Laura, right now, when somebody comes in March, say it signs up, just we do our tax bill and comes out in November, when we pay it, we just put them for 10 months out of the year or whatever, and then fill the tax bill at that time.
Yes, and then the next year, it's $200 a year on the tax bill, and when they sign up for an extra can, they'll see a $300 charge on there. Just on there, until they ask to have it.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, just so you know, I did suggest 105.
Yeah.
And the reason being is we're doing our best to break even. It's not a profit center here, but we also need a little bit of contingency dollars for things that come up along the way. And it's a very nominal amount, because we're not going to have, tens of thousands of those.
I was just going to suggest that that's probably a fee we have to approve. So when we come back to the January meeting, why don't you come with a recommendation of a fee that we can. Right. Just come to the fee schedule and whatever it is, make a recommendation. I recommend something around 105 too, just make sure it's covered. I don't want to say on that.
Okay, granted it can't be, these are gonna go out starting January the 2nd to all the residents that need to get printed sooner. We'll just say, can we just say 105 and that way?
Does this have a price on it?
No, it doesn't, but I just wanna make sure we're not giving the residents a false,
We can't say formally until we vote.
okay.
So I think you're just going to say you need to they need to contact us.
All right, let's just take this and let's not even talk about a fee. We'll just say, hey, please contact, and then you'll,
Correct.
got it, okay.
If it doesn't go out until the
Contact, tell
second,
what the fee will be, and we got to do about this.
if it doesn't go out to the second, phone calls won't start until the third.
Yeah.
And it'll be approved by then, and we're not putting the amount on the flyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the amount will be transmitted via the phone or email or whatever, but it's not going to be.
But maybe you should say an additional fee, because you don't want to leave it like they can just get another can.
All right, here.
You know, if they want another can, they're calling.
Pen right?
Well, we call the county, and she'll.
All right, forward it.
She'll take that fee.
All right, so if you need an extra garbage cart for an additional fee,
What do you have?
Well, if you will, bear
Please
in
go-
mind that sanitation fees are set by resolution each year. So the fee is the fee unless you change the resolution.
That's what I just said, we're going to come back with recommendation, we're going to amend that last fee resolution that we did. That's right. And that's what we don't have to say tonight, come back with recommendation, we approve the first meeting. No one's going to ask about the cost of the first meeting.
Is that required to vote?
So we should be good, next item.
all right. What is, Another thing as far as the number, we were talking about to alleviate, Laura, is having the phone, y'all solid waste phone number go directly to our office. So, we get the numbers and she can be working on something besides garbage. But as part of, filling out this extra, how do you want us to, what number should we give for this if they want to call Effingham County Solid Waste? What number should we use?
That's what it's calling for.
What happened?
This is for the extra cart and
Was there ever a number that was listed that went straight to the public?
You said you don't have it on the cans, but the telephone number.
yes, our phone number will be on the can, so whenever, it'll be 964-2000 on every single can.
This is for a second card.
This is just for a second cart. This is just to fill out this one little line of
So we can move on. That'd be your number.
Yeah.
Well, it's, what they currently have is the 7544668 extension 0, which is the operator, which actually comes to me. I don't know what the call, I don't know how they were going to arrange it, but I imagine it'll be that same number.
okay, 7544668.
And then extension 0.
Extension 0. Okay. All right. All right. The next star is sign up for phone and text notification system. This will allow us to notify you of changes in routes due to holidays or other natural disasters. You can go to atlanticwaste.com or call us at 964-2000, and you may also join us at Atlantic Waste Effingham County Facebook page. We've created a Facebook page, and in lieu of, what happened in the hurricane where people were waiting 3 weeks and you'd say one thing and then it wouldn't happen. And then, we had all this. Steve and I have come up with a way to start to notify our residents or your residents, how and what routes got changed and when they expect to get picked up. And this is a system for doing that. Granted, we're not going to get all 17,000 phone numbers for everybody, but this will be a good start, and the neighbor can go walk next door and tell their other neighbor. So this will be a good way for us to get a database collected, and we'll use all of the information we can to, whenever there's, say, a snowstorm, something like what they had in Atlanta. I'm sure their garbage routes got backed up, or a hurricane or tornadoes or something. We can say, hey, here's the phone blast. These people didn't get picked up. Here's what's going on. Here's when you will get picked up. You'll get picked up the next day. Just like we've got Christmas coming on, which is a Monday. And what it does is, since it's on a Monday, your Monday route gets going on Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Fridays will be picked up on Saturday. So that'll be the need there. And then the last thing is, we're still looking for good, high quality people. And as I've told you in meetings in the past, is we get a lot of great people from Effingham County. For some reason, it's a blue collar community. The people work hard, and they work well for us. And so we're taking the opportunity to bring them aboard and let them join us. And so the next thing is, hey, we need a job. We offer above market pay, it seems like, health insurance, holidays pay, 401k, and it says please apply in person, and tells us where you're at. The other thing is we're doing a job fair on the 20th. Have we nailed down
Location?
the location yet?
It's either going to be here or over the top.
Right. We'll have that done by the end of the week, though.
Y'all have that figured out?
Yeah, and I'll make sure to get the
Okay.
press release out on it.
All right, well, we'll do that. All right. Moving on to the next page. These are your anticipated routes by day. Starting off with Monday is in yellow, which is, I believe, y'all's Monday. Force, that's your district, isn't it?
I get picked up on Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, Tuesday with Republic was like all over the county, and like it hit like some places in Springfield, and then it went to Guyton and Marlow, and anyway, what I did is made it to where Monday is in yellow, Tuesday is in orange, Wednesday is in pink, Thursday is in green, which I think is Jamie Thursday. That is pretty much the same, and the same thing with Friday. So those are your routes. Now these are subject to change, but they aren't going to change a whole lot. Once we do those ride-alongs and we see what it is, we may change the, one road here, but pretty much that's what it's gonna look like. It might, like I said, change a couple roads, but those are your days. There will be 5 trucks picking up those 5 garbage trucks and 2 recycling trucks. So that's what that'll be. The routes, I have gotten 22 of the 25 routes completed, of the garbage routes. So I am almost done. I went on a trip last week and didn't get it finished. I'm sorry, but I will have it done by the end of the day tomorrow. So we are very good as to where the routes are. The majority of them are turn by turn back up here, but we'll confirm that with these ride-alongs. I guess the next thing is estimated equipment plan schedule. Okay. So here's where we're at with cart delivery. We will have 35,000 carts being delivered starting January the 2nd. All right, that is the first day after New Year's. All right. Inbound shipments from the manufacturing facility will begin on the 2nd. Inbound shipments will be in a 53-foot long trailer. Schaefer, which is the cart manufacturer that we've chosen, will be providing equipment to unload the carts. The staging area will be in 2 staging yards. One's on Stagecoach Road in Guyton. I think that's the old, Nick, you did this. Is the what?
That was Sand Hill Road.
Oh, it's on Sand Hill? It says
Yeah.
Stagecoach, it's on
They
Sand.
use GPS, Google Map for these addresses, so they may not be exact.
Okay.
Sand Hill Ballpark.
It's the Sand Hill Ballpark, and then the other location is Springfield. It's what they call the Old Central School in Springfield. They'll have 4 to 6 crews, and they'll distribute roughly about 12 to 1,400 carts per day. And they're going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning and end at 7 o'clock at night, Monday through Saturday. They're not going to work on Sunday. So with everything, the target completion date is February 1st. February the 1st, pretty much everybody will have a container. I'm sure there's going to be a couple people that didn't get the right ones or they couldn't find an address, and so there'll be some time. There'll be at least 3 weeks for people to get all their stuff. Y'all have a question?
No, we're just saying that garbage is gonna smell because people are gonna put stuff in it.
I'm sure that's why I put it in red. Please don't use it. I hope like heck they don't, and they do read, and we've talked even about like finding a way to tape them shut.
I was going to say that, tape them with something that says February.
Should we?
15th.
That's a good idea. If you look at yeah, you got that roll tape, pretty much.
And we're gonna need everyone's help, including Gina's on that, getting that message out continuously
Can we use our-
throughout January.
Can we look for a piece of tape that's like decent that says "do not use before February" that will not
Probably have
get
it
picked
made.
up? We can get some tape. We can get some customized tape made. We had some done for Tabby because it had no glass. It didn't really hold up well, but it held up for 6 weeks, which is all we're needing is 6 weeks. And we'll have it orange that says "do not use." Yeah, work on that if you
Right. We got is that this report to be up and running?
custom.
Yeah, it'll be up this week.
We could, before they go out, 2-3 days before, start putting,
Yes, sir.
do not use your.
Tape.
And obviously, we'll also use our communication plan that we're doing with Facebook, our website and their website and things of that nature. And hopefully we're going to try and get some media coverage with our PIO here. And,
Get some.
Seal tape is the best idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I've seen. I know at Tybee they've got a thing that they they've had a problem with people leaving the carts out for too long, and so has Thunderbolt, where somebody will put it out on a Wednesday, they get picked up on Wednesday, and it's still there Friday afternoon, and the marshal goes and puts a tape thing on there, and I can see what they have and where they got it. But anyway, we'll look at the tape option. It's not a problem. The next slide.
Something like crime scene tape.
Yeah, something. If it's sticky enough, then it won't.
Do you need these?
I know I do, but I don't. I know I need them.
Just squinting.
I know. All right, truck arrival estimates. This is, what we actually, it took a long time just to get all these trucks, and we had some on order before we ever actually signed an agreement. But anyway, here's where we're at. The first truck is here. It's actually in front now. It was in a parade Saturday, I think Reggie saw it. I'd love for y'all to go look at it. It looks great. It's got a nice little Christmas wreath on it. It's brand new. It doesn't have, I think it may have had one load of garbage put in it, didn't it? One day. Yeah, one day. Anyway, but it doesn't stink. So if y'all want to go see it, ride it, touch it, play it, work on it, I'd love for y'all to go do it. Because this is as best as they'll ever look. The next one should be here. It's in town, and it should be here ready to work probably in the next 2 to 3 days. So hopefully by the end of the week. The next two will get here, I guess if you look at it, we got December the 17th. We got 2 by Christmas, the week after Christmas. But anyway, they should all be here by January the 15th. So they'll have plenty of time for the guys to start learning them. We'll ride them. We'll make sure that they're working. Sometimes with these new trucks, there's hundreds of thousands of parts, and not all of them get screwed on tight, and you'll find out the bugs.
Explain to them why it takes so long to get a truck.
I mean,
They have to convert it to have 2 steering wheels.
yeah, these trucks will be dual steer, and so the driver can be on the right hand side and just hop off to get it if we need to. But it just takes the factory took right at 3 months to build the trucks, and then you've got this factory that puts the bodies on, the actual garbage smashing bodies on. That takes about 6 to 8 weeks, and so we had these actually on order before we actually ever signed an agreement, which was good.
As a contingency, we do have 5 trucks. We don't have any reservations or hesitations on getting these in, but just as a further contingency, we have 5 rental trucks on standby, just in case something went sideways and 1 or 2, some of them didn't make it here, to make sure that the trash is going to get picked up regardless.
To further explain that, we got Pooler's trucks, both Pooler's trucks. One was like the cab they were painted at different times, and the cab was one color and the body was another. And I said, I am not going to have funky, like crazy colored trucks that were, anyway, so I put.
So you basically have 5 trucks that run the routes, give you extra backup and support, or all 7 of them?
All 7 trucks will be running. You'll have 5 trucks picking up the garbage each day, and you'll have 2 trucks picking up the recycling each day. And we do have backup trucks. We've got 2 more backup trucks coming. I mean, we have extra backup trucks. So they're, when
The only time that we really need the details is when it's not working right.
yeah. Well, like I said, I'm giving y'all one of my backup trucks now, and I haven't needed the other backup truck, and so we're in, like I said, we rarely use the backup trucks, but there are times when you need them.
The fact that we have a contingency plan in place so we don't have a interruption of service.
Yep. And like I said, we've got you covered. The flyer packet sample contents. There's the welcome letter. Then there's the don't use your cart. Here's your job if you want a job. If you think you're skipped, call us. We are in transition. And then there's the phone tree informational text system. So that's pretty much it.
The LD February section.
No, it's January the 2nd. And there's a couple of things that we're flushing through there on that, but that's just minor items.
Yeah, you have to talk about.
Like the big,
Anyway, the one that you saw earlier is the correct one. All right, next slide.
Yes.
All right, here is what you'll be getting for here's your actual pickup flyer. This will tell you what.
How many times will this transitional training driver go out? Just one time?
How many times will the transitional driver will drive that route for at least
How
3.
many times will this slider go out? Just one time?
Just one time, and it'll slide in on top of the cart. It'll be the carts have little handles, and it'll slide in right on top of the handle in the newspaper holder. And so when the person, probably, I'd say 50% of the people actually read the stuff, because half the time you'll slide them under and people just throw them in the trash. The majority of people's days are not going to be changing. And so that's a good thing. And the next thing is for the 50% that actually read it, the other people that didn't are going to look out to their neighbor to the right or the left and say, well, he's got his card out, and I guess I need to put my card out. And
Is this information that you're putting out in any type of way, is it also going to be on your website? Or they can
oh, of course. So you'll have the map, and the map will then correlate with, there'll also be a recycling map that will be split up even further from Monday. The Monday would then be split in half. You'll have a green Monday and a yellow Monday. And so, and those correlate with the recycling pickups because they're every other week. And so if it makes sense, there's 5 routes on one day. 2 routes would be for recycling as part of those, and then the next week there'll be, half will get picked up the next week, if that makes sense.
How does the board feel about the public that Stephanie did now? Should we go ahead and put this in the paper a couple of times in a very clear location? Because we don't come back to January 2nd, so we agree with that meeting, and it's already out.
More communication
So
there.
maybe go ahead and vote, maybe the Herald and the Mail, 2 prominent locations.
Mr. Chairman, we also have Gina Bilbao here, who is our public information officer that we share with the sheriff's office. That's going to be helping us with the media.
I think you'll probably get it for free at least once, maybe twice.
If you get it for free, let me tell you another way you can do it too. If you copy this and you give it to the paper, I know the Herald does this, they'll actually just stick it in the paper. It's really
A flyer?
expensive. Yeah, it's like $75 to $100 just to stick it in on the page. It's the cheapest way to advertise.
Every way we can get it out, we should get it out, but their circulation is limited, so.
It's universally ignored in.
Before-
But I'd say the Mail and the other, if you do that at least a couple of times, you'll be okay with that?
Yep.
Before we send out any flyers, we want to make sure that the routes are like we want, and we'll write them. We should have all those routes written, I would say, by January the 15th, and that gives us a whole month to.
But your carts are going out.
Yeah, the carts are going out, so we'll be able to make sure that, let's say this, we'll have them known.
Well, let me say this, we want to do much time, just pick those things out that they really have to know right
Yes.
then. Like, do not use the car.
Yep.
There'll be some training runs coming your way. Don't give them the dates or when you might pick them up right now. But just those things that cars still need to use, they don't start calling.
Yep.
Go ahead and that newspaper ad, put the text information, if you want to have text, things that won't disrupt.
Yes.
So it won't be this flyer necessarily that they're going to put up. Instead, it might be 3 or 4 items that are really important.
Well, we should, I feel confident by the 1st we'll actually have the routes will be finalized per.
We need this in December.
Yeah.
Are they going to start using them January 2nd?
Well, I'll definitely have the do not use stickers made and all that stuff.
Chairman, I think if you shoot for the week after Christmas, before New Year's, to get a big news story out and really, really hit it hard, and we'll get good coverage because this is a continuing story from when we had inmates picking up trash. We'll get great coverage,
I
yeah.
would still get the key things in December, then they get your flyer, January, whatever, and it's just all important.
Christmas is a wonderful time to talk about trash, particularly residential trash, because
Yep.
everybody's got a
There's
ton
plenty
of it.
of
trash at Christmas, I can tell you that.
Yep.
I can tell you, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna have a box and the thing's gonna be this tall, overflowing, and they're gonna have a big TV box over here, and that TV box is not gonna get picked up, and somebody's gonna say, well, you know, there was a story about that in the Herald, and I saw it on TV,
Yeah.
that we're getting a new garbage company, and you need to go fill out this information so that you know when you're gonna get picked up, and they're gonna be giving you flyers, and you need to read the flyer, and you need to read the cart, and you need to read everything, and if you can't figure that out, just look to your right or left, and hopefully you'll see somebody, and they did your job for you.
So how come pizza boxes are recyclable?
Because okay, yeah, everybody's like, I had no idea. Okay, what it is the grease from the cheese and the pepperonis and all. The recyclers don't want that grease contaminating the loads. That is what they've told me. Styrofoam isn't recyclable. The little, you know, the grocery store bags aren't recyclable.
Are there any recyclable points people get that they can use to redeem?
Sir?
Are there any recyclable points people get to redeem for?
You know, no, that was something that came out probably about 10 years ago with this company called Recycle Bank. I know that Waste Management ran with it, and that program was really more of a administrative pain than it was worth. And you know, people that want to recycle are going to recycle. Yeah, no, sir, we do not offer that, and plus it costs us to recycle. Whereas back then, it had value in recycling. Nowadays, I pay the recycler the same amount to dispose of recycling as I do the landfill. It costs $40 a ton for it to go down an assembly line, and they pick apart the glass, and they pick apart the paper, they pick apart the aluminum, and to do all that, and then it goes to the proper places and everything. Commodities are not what they used to be worth, and so they actually charge us to do it. Recycling, we don't get paid for recycling, it's the opposite, we get charged.
Why would you recycle?
For the environment.
Because there's you know, I don't want to get into it, that's a very long because people did a good job selling it back in the day.
That's that. And less strain on the landfill.
Yeah, less strain on the landfills, that's right, Phil, good, that's good. All right.
But I would say it was money to put less strain on your landfill.
Hey, like I said, I am not a firm, I don't recycle at my house, how about that? And I have the opportunity to, and I don't. Anyway, let's move off of that, because I don't want, here's the convenience center informational flyer. You know, we're still trying to find somebody to man that. I think I got somebody in-house who can man the convenience center. We'll get all the proper, we've got new roll-off trucks coming in anyway. We get them all the time, and to get new cans takes about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So that's not going to be hard to do. Jeff and Mike have been more that's more their baby right this minute, but and Jeff interrupt me if I'm wrong in saying this, but we've got to get a computer and some software to run the scale, which is the same software that Republic's used. We use the same stuff, so it should be pretty easy to work with. We just got to get somebody trained up to be able to point to go to A, B, or C, or 1, 2, and make sure they can take cash and they won't steal from us. So that's what we got working on there.
Then, the collection fees,
Yes, the collection fees are going to stay the same as they were. I don't. When Mike did this slide, I don't think Mike was familiar with what the collection fees. They're going to be the same as they are now. It's 8 cents a pound, and the tire fees are. I want to say it's $8 a tire for a car tire, then a truck tire is $12, and then there's a couple big tractor tires which I think are 15 or 20. And aluminum's free, and I think cardboard's free.
okay.
Yeah, that's Mike. So, yeah. Anyway. All right, the transitional timeline. Today we're having, today the 11th? Today's the 12th. We're having the meeting to kind of talk about this. Starting hiring, we actually started hiring, and Nick's telling me we've got 5 drivers that we're penciled in for Effingham that are already working with us now. They're learning the way we pick up trash, the way we talk to customers, the way we interact with each other, how to fill out their paperwork, how to do VCRs and check tires. They're learning how to be an Atlantic Waste driver. And I think we've got 3 helpers too. So the drivers, we need 7. We're going to get 8 just for backups, but we have 5 already hired. So we're doing good. And then the helpers are pretty easy to find. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to hop on the back of the truck and pull cars. That's pretty easy to fill. The job fair is on the 20th. We've got Christmas, I guess, and then we've got the cards start delivering January the 2nd. We'll probably start doing our drive runs the last week of January. And another thing we'll do with those dry runs is we're going to put a sign on the trucks that states, this is a training run. We are not picking up the trash. The service starts February the 19th. That way they don't call saying, hey, this is driver in training. We'll have signs on both sides of the truck that are large enough for somebody to read to say, hey, didn't get missed.
Hey, Ben.
Yes?
We got 10 minutes, Josh.
Okay, all right, I'll speed it up. That's pretty much it, and like I said, all right, emergency change in communication. We'll have Atlantic Waste website that we have now, atlanticwaste.com. We'll have the Atlantic Waste Facebook page. We'll have Effingham County's website, plus we'll have the call blasts, and a 5th one would be the newspaper. And if we have to go to TV or to radio, we can use those options, but those are the free options. Well, not free, the call blast costs us, but it's very minimal. The next thing is we're going to build our database using the call-in and the internet, our website, and that's it. Next.
And just real quick, on the collection of the database, we're gonna work with the county. Anything that's called into you guys, please forward us so we can add it to the system. We definitely want to make sure we have everybody's cell phone here so we can make sure you get the blast too as well. We'd like to make sure everybody gets the notifications. So anything that comes in from the county side, share with us so we can make sure it gets into the
All right, I'll make sure I have that.
So real quickly, what information have you provided in here that isn't solidly accurate yet to put out? What were you saying?
The only thing that I think that we're not, it would probably be those things on that first little flyer as to what the phone number for the county was, and adding that one little spot that says, hey, for an additional fee. That's pretty much it. Everything that we're heading. The routes, the routes are, sir?
You got 3 yet to do.
I've got 3 yet to do, but they're all on Friday's routes. So the Friday routes are going to be, it's just, and those are the ones up on like Old Louisville Road and off Highway 17 North, basically the Egypt area of that section. That's it. But all of Thursday's routed, all of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's all routed. But that's pretty much it. The next thing is we receive client requests and complaints via our website, social media. Sometimes there's these things called like next door. I don't know if anybody has a next door, but that's one we check. We'll check them on Facebook, and then telephone. One thing that is completely different than I think what you've experienced with your current service provider is actually when somebody calls 964-2000, a person, Adrian, generally answers the phone, or Alex, somebody here. It's not a call center that's in North Carolina currently that gets it and says that, it'll be somebody that knows where Effingham County is and knows where it's at, so we'll be there. But once we get a complaint, it goes into our customer service platform. It allows us to aggregate all the client issues to a centralized location, and then it then goes to assign a driver and a turnaround time and expected time, and so it happens pretty quick to where we can let somebody know that they'll be handled within the next, 3 to 6 hours in that day or the following day if it's late in the afternoon.
The other thing that software which we had developed will allow us to do is we can give Laura or Fiona or whoever Steve designates to monitor it, have a login to see how many complaints are coming in, what's the resolution time, how long is it taking to correct those problems when they do come up. So you'll have a way to kind of monitor that progress.
Yeah, you'll be able to say, hey, we had, 35 calls this month relating to service issues or performance or whatever, and you can look to see how fast they were resolved. It's a pretty cool system. All right, next slide. This is what how you fill it out if you go online. All right, that's what it looks like. Once it's entered, it shows, we can fast forward to this.
Basically, this is what Adrian handles day in and day out.
Yeah.
Cooler, Tide, Thunderbolt, subscription. She logs all these, she tracks these. She and I talk on a regular basis. Jeff, Ben, any issues that need to be brought to our attention. And it's a live working system that she is living with all day long.
All right, and here's the next thing that's kind of neat. You can fill out your cell phone number and it'll send you text like, hey, we've gotten your complaint. Here we've dispatched your complaint and here the complaint has been fulfilled. And that way Reggie was telling me about a lady who wanted an extra card or needed a card. And she called and said that she had gotten her card or had not gotten her card, and the company said that she did. Well, if she gets a text saying, hey, we've gotten your card, then she can call back and say, hey, we didn't get your card, your guy must have delivered it to the wrong address, and then that way we can start it all over again, and that way it's pretty quick, the turnaround time, and that way she can call us saying, hey, we didn't get what we thought we got. Okay, all right, next. All right. Well, pretty much just, we don't need to keep going any further. I think time is pretty slow. Right now, I think you've pretty much got the idea. The trucks will be here on the 15th. The carts will be out by the 1st. We'll be driving the practice routes starting January, the last week of January, and we'll be ready to go January the 19th. And that's pretty much it. Do y'all have any questions, any concerns? Is there something else that you'd like for us to do?
You know what we need?
I know y'all, I wish I could start now.
Well, I like to track the tracking software that's see how it plays out. The tracking software, the calls and complaints and how they're addressed.
Well, like I said, we know that we're going to have some complaints in the first couple of weeks, and that's why we're doing this, is try to make sure. Yeah, we're going to track them, but once we get through that first, 4 to 6 weeks, from then on is when I want to see it where we have, in my opinion, less than 10 calls a week or a month. Yes, sir.
You have GPS tracking on those trucks?
Yes, sir, we sure do.
These guys are going.
Yes, and we can give that to Steve. That was one of the things that Pooler wanted us to be able to see, is, hey, where are these trucks at? Because their service provider said, oh, it's here, and they'd go drive, where the truck was, and it wouldn't be there, and
A lot of fleets are doing that stuff.
Oh yeah, we do that, and it's helped us. I mean, we've got it on all of our trucks. I mean, we found a driver that was going to feed his dog for 3 hours every day.
And we got about 3 minutes.
Yep, all right.
Very good information. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We're looking forward to your service and our service.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
We're going to take about a 3-minute break. Missing one.
He just ran to grab something. He'll be right back.
I'm going to call to order the Board of Commissioners meeting for December 12, 2017. It is 5:05. ask everyone to please rise for the invocation, and then after the invocation, if you would go ahead and give us an introduction to the one who's going to be sharing the pledge of allegiance from the 4-H tonight. Stephanie, you want to give the
Yes.
introduction?
Tonight, Mr. Chairman and board members, we have Emily Rowland, who is a 9th grade 4-H member that attends Effingham County High School. She stays involved in 4-H programs on the county and district level. Emily is also a Georgia 4-H certified team leader and volunteers monthly as a team leader for after-school clubs. She participates in the dog care and training category for 4-H project achievement.
See if you want to come to the mic and I'll offer the invocation, and then you can follow with the pledge of allegiance, okay? Let's pray together. Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to come together. And I think about the Christmas season, and I think about how you used unusual people and unusual places to do miraculous things. And Father, that's where we are. We're just unusual people. An unusual place, Effingham County. It's nothing perhaps in the global side of things, but Father, you can do great things through here if we follow your lead and listen to you as we make decisions tonight. So we invite you to be here, to give us unity and give us wisdom as we seek your face for what's good for this community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. We appreciate that. So you're the ones that had a chance to review the agenda. Do I have a motion to, or resolution to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Deloach, second by Mr. Keeper to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. No agenda. Consideration to approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2017 regular meeting. Do you have any corrections or additions to those minutes? Do you have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Welker, second Mr. Deloach to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the minutes, November 21st are approved. Welcome to public tonight. It's good to have people who are interested in their local government. Just to remind you that the agenda is items that we're going to talk about tonight. Keep comments to the agenda items. If you have something for a future agenda, let us know. Also, that all our information and documents at the clerk's office has been publicized. I think you had a chance to review those items. And if you can keep comments to 2 or 3 minutes, it would help anyone who would like to speak to an agenda item to have time to speak to that. And with that, we'll move into our consent agenda. The 2 items on the consent agenda. Item number 1, consideration to approve to renew the professional service agreement with Ecological Planning Group for consulting services. And then item number 2, consideration to approve to renew the on-call surveying services contracts with Coleman Company Incorporated, Muscatine and Bell, and EMC Engineering. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Floyd, and second by Mr. Deloach to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And those items are approved. So we'll move to new business. First item on new business is consideration to approve a variance for Dale Hutchison from Chapter 75, Article 1, Section 75-1, required connection to water, sewer, and water reuse lines for a 4-lot development known as Greenfield, parcel D map 352F, parcel 1F in the 1st district.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Hutchison is requesting a variance to this section of the utility ordinance dealing with tying in the county reuse system in the existing subdivision of 100+ lots. There is no reuse lines or connections. However, his development is within the 1,000-foot requirement to tie into the reuse system. However, it would require going under Highway 30 to get a connection. He's only providing 4 new lots in the development, and it's really economically feasible to do that, as far as tying it in, and the product that's going to be delivered is only 4 lots. So staff's recommendation is to approve the variance to not require the tying.
There's a subdivision that backs up to that, 4 lots. They don't have any use lines? in that
No, sir.
subdivision?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Darrell Hutchinson, and as you go into the subdivision, it's the first area on the left before you get to the first house. I understand that it was originally designed by the developer to have maybe condos there. Seemed like it didn't materialize at the time, so we have divided the lots out according to your county specs to have 4 lots facing on the road going into the subdivision.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve alternate number 1.
Motion by Mr. Loper, second by Mr. Floyd to approve alternate number 1. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries.
Thank you.
Item number 2, consideration to approve the memorandum of understanding between Effingham County Board of Commission and Mercer University School of Medicine.
Good afternoon, Wanda McDuffie, EMS Director. What we're asking is the Mercer University of School, they want their medical students to have the opportunity to ride an ambulance, to see firsthand what we do in the medical field. And hopefully they picked a rural county, which was us, and they're hoping that maybe with them being, with the inside of Effingham being a rural county, that they're hoping to recruit some of these new doctors, future doctors, to maybe come back and get work at a rural county. So it's about 62 students. They'll do 12-hour shifts. They won't be doing any medical care. They'll just be observing on the ambulance with our staff. And they'll be riding during the daytime hours.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions from Ms. Wanda? Any discussion? Entertain a motion for alternate 1.
Make a motion to approve alternative number 1.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Loper for alternative 1. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
Thank you.
Carries, thank you. Item number 3 in the new business, consideration to approve work order number EFF 025SA with Morgan Altivetti Associates Incorporated for right-of-way acquisition outside Effingham County, restricted covenant areas for Effingham Parkway.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, purchasing agent. Effingham County entered into an agreement with Moreland Altivetti Associates for design services on Effingham Parkway on November 18, 2003. Various phases of the project were authorised under separate work orders, with work order 25 in the amount of $127,000 for right-of-way negotiation and acquisition services being approved on April 18, 2017. Supplemental work order number 25SA in the amount of $70,000 reflects additional parcel appraisals near Blue Jay Road and reduces the additional driveway easement fees to 0, as well as leaving the now limited access parcel appraisal fees as originally submitted in work order 25. This project is ROST funded and staff recommends alternative number 1. Any questions?
Any questions or discussions from anyone on the board? Alternative 1, recommended approve supplemental work order. We have a motion for alternative 1.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Deloach, second by Mr. Lover. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries.
Thank you.
Item number 4, consideration to approve a professional service agreement between the Effingham County Board of Commissioners and Effingham Chamber of Commerce.
Staff would like to request that this item be tabled until the next meeting, as we're going to look at putting the contract into place so it runs with our fiscal year.
Okay. So, recommendation is tabled, motion table.
Make a motion to table to the next meeting?
Yes.
January 2nd.
Yes, please.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Jones, second Mr. Deloach, to table to the January 2nd meeting, 2018. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And it is tabled.
Thank you.
Item number 5, consideration to approve Georgia Firefighters Cancer Benefit Program insurance through the Association and the Commissioners of Georgia.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Vicki Dunn, Director of HR. And on May 4th of 2017, the governor signed into law House Bill 146, which requires fire departments to now provide cancer insurance and long-term disability insurance for firefighters, whether it be a paid department or volunteer department. ACCG went out as a group including several counties, small counties that have smaller departments, to get prices for the insurance. They came back to us with a proposal that cost us approximately $16,000 a year. That would provide the benefit for the cancer benefit and also the long-term disability for both our paid firefighters and volunteer firefighters. I did reach out to our insurance broker for next year, USI, to ask them about the possibility of getting a better rate if we went out on our own. She stated that because we are a small department, that we would not get a better rate than going through ACCG, because they're able to lump us all together as a bigger group to get the better rates that way.
I'm sorry, Nancy, this is a new coverage.
Yes, ma'am.
So is it in the budget anyway?
It was not in the budget. No, ma'am.
So if we approve it, then we're going to approve the budget amendment
Yes, ma'am.
after the fact.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
has anybody found, I'll say this is, I know we have a transition
Yes,
with
ma'am.
finance directors, but when we have something presented to us typically that's not already budgeted, what I like to know where
The
we've
money's
already
coming.
found money to pay for it. Because if we approve it, we know we got to go find it.
We
So-
did, it has been discussed. This was not something that just came up the last month or so. This has been discussed since the first part of the year. But as far as where the money's coming from, no, ma'am, that has not been specifically discussed.
And I may be incorrect on this, but I was thinking that we budgeted a decrease in our insurance, health insurance premiums. And I don't know where I know we did, we budgeted back in June, when we approved our budget, an increase. I don't know if it was sufficient or more than sufficient.
To cover the increase that we really
Right.
had.
It'd be nice to know if, if we had that.
Is this time sensitive, or can this be tabled till we can assess the money?
It is time sensitive because it has to go into effect January 1st. It's not something that we even have an option on whether or not we provide it. It's required.
Oh, well, there you go. We just have to find it.
It's not something the governor institute, he's trying to do similar type thing for our police officers as well, trying to.
And unless mandate.
Yes, ma'am. And, part of the reason was because workers' comp, firefighters were having a hard time getting some of their illnesses and things covered under workers' compensation. They were saying that cancers and things were not directly related to their duties that they perform going in smoke buildings and stuff. So this is to lessen the burden for the firefighters if something should happen to them.
Is there a cost per firefighter?
No, sir, it's a group, it's broken into two separate phases, the cancer policy and then the long-term disability.
But how do they come up with our premium?
We have to give them a list of firefighters every month of who's covered under our program.
So is it based per firefighter, or is it just?
Based on numbers, yes, sir. Numbers of
Right.
firefighters.
So there's a cost per firefighter estimate?
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we did approve a budget amendment on November 7th that does include a number of line items for health insurance, for short and long-term disability, and for workers' comp.
But was the bottom line, are we over or under still? Like,
Well, I think that budget amendment, though, for clarity, is we budget our insurance in one number, and then each quarter, Joanna would take and she would break out that budget and assign it to each department. So the department has an excess. That may be that amendment in November. That makes sense for July, August, September. That's probably what that is. So we have a budgeted number somewhere in our budget of the general administration for our area
Yes, sir.
that we prorate based on our expenses. I think there's some excess there. I would just suggest you check that. If not, we'll come back with a budget amendment.
Okay.
Well, this one, I'm missed, I get you're saying that the governor signed it into law, so it's a mandate. And this is about
we need to go ahead and approve it tonight, but we need to, it may be there, we'll get it, may not be the budget amendment, just check it, see if we do, we can bring it back to January meeting.
Commissioner Jones, if I can interject a little bit as well, we're also getting our quotes in for our workers' comp, and it's got a 3.1% decrease on it, so we are going to have additional funds in our insurance pool and in the budget for this. So we should not have any problem covering the $16,000.
Okay, so we'll look at the need for an amendment or not, but we do need to fund this, so any other questions or discussions? If not, do you have a motion for alternative number 1 to approve it to ACCG?
Make the motion that we approve alternative number 1.
Second. Motion by Mrs. Jones, second by Mr. Logan, approve alternative 1. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Any carries. Thank you. Item number 6, consideration to approve to authorize the county administrator and/or county clerk to sign defined contribution withdrawal forms. Vote for changes.
Yes, sir. In November of last year, we made changes to our defined contribution plans that required a signature from one of the commissioners or yourself in order to have money refunded to participants. What we're finding is that there's a time lag there when we have people that leave the county as far as when they turn in their forms and when they can be signed off and then sent into GovCore. So there's creates a 1 to 2 week lag sometimes. What we're asking is that we also add, in addition to yourselves as authorized signers for these documents, that we also add the county administrator and also the county clerk to be signing in your absence, just to kind of speed up the process a little bit. Keeping in mind that these documents are only for employees that are leaving, either resigning or being terminated, then it's their monies that we're talking about.
Let me interject here. I suggested they look at this because I'm signing documents, I don't even know what I'm signing, I try to read through it, and I thought the control would be that Human Resources prepares it, but let the clerk or the administrator, that gives you the backup. They're more familiar with what's going on, and it's more time. So they still have control, it's just not me being in control that I don't know what I'm looking at, I'm just signing because they give me their money.
Right.
That makes sense? So the control will be, Human Resources prepares it, one of these two, we can still sign it if we're available.
Right.
One of these two will sign it as a backup to make sure that it's all good.
It's only related to defined contribution forms, and it's also when there are no changes.
Are no changes to?
There's no changes being made in anything, nothing that's stated here.
No, they will be authorized to make no changes to the plan documents themselves. This is strictly signing
Just
forms.
approve the employee to
Yes,
get
sir.
their money out. If you look at it and say, I agree, that's the money that the plan owes them, and I won't have to do it in the future.
Yes,
Whatever
sir.
they're gonna do. Okay? Any other discussion or questions? And so alternative 1 is to approve the clerk and the administrator as well as ourselves.
Make a motion to approve alternative number 1.
Second.
Alternative 1, let's see, motion was by Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Deloach. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
Thank you.
Any carries? Thank you. That gets us item number 7. Consideration to approve a resolution and submit a pre-application for a recreation trail program grant for walking trails at Sand Hill Ballpark.
Good afternoon, Clarence Morgan, Recreation Director, and thank y'all for a wonderful, wonderful day on Saturday.
That was a great day.
Had a great crowd. This is a walking trail that's been discussed, I think, off and on for the last couple of years. This is just a pre-application. We got 2 more steps have to go through. We got to have a resolution and a letter supporting the grant. It's a 0.8 mile walking / bike trail. And we're going after the non-motorized diverse use at Sand Hill, separated by traffic diverters, where the bike will be on one side, the walk will be on the other side. When you come in Sand Hill, you go 1/8 of a mile, 1/8 of a mile. The total project would be about $208,000 to $210,000. Our cost would be about $40,000 to $45,000 if we make the first round, second round, before you have to budget any money.
Is that
Is that the total of our cost? Because I see that it says that we have to do, it's an 80-20 match, we have to do 20%.
Right, 20% of the 200, between $208,000 to $210,000, yes, ma'am. It'd be about 43, 44,000.
The total is 40 to 45,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is not currently budgeted.
No, ma'am, it will not become in play until we,
Probably be in the 2018-19 budget.
right, right. It'd be, that's the early, that's the early it could be in.
Or splosh.
Right, yeah,
So it
splosh.
won't be in this 18 budget.
No, sir.
We just want to do the resolution.
Right, it's a step by step that we got to start to get in the grant
Required
process.
to be in the budget coming up if we approve it.
Right,
That's correct.
Not if we approve this is just for the application.
that's just application.
Yeah, I get it.
I know, I get it.
We approve this.
I agree.
It's done.
And it's a 14-foot wide, where we have sufficient room for bikers and walkers.
There's been a lot of requests for us to do something over Sand Hill. This is one of the things that people have asked for, so.
This is one of the 3 projects I got down pursuing right now at Sand Hill.
Yeah, if we can get a good walking trail for $40,000, that's almost a mile, that's pretty good.
Right, with, well, a little over $200,000.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions or discussion? Alternative 1 is to approve application for a lettering resolution. Motion,
To approve.
motion, Mr. Ford, to approve alternative 1, second, Mr. Deloach, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And we will.
I'll get you the document with Ms. Stephanie in the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is item number 8, consideration to approve a service agreement with Motorola Solutions for the 7.16 upgrade to the 700/800 megahertz radio system.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, purchasing agent. The county's emergency service radios operate on the Southeast Georgia Regional Radio Network, commonly known as CGON, the core of which is owned and maintained by Savannah and Chatham. CGON is utilized by several coastal counties, Bullock, Bryan, Candler, Chatham, Effingham, Glynn, and Liberty, and allows emergency staff to easily communicate in any of the network counties. A major CGON system update was completed in 2014, and the network is continuing these updates. By participating in the regular updates, it not only keeps the hardware and software up to date, but it also offsets the need for large update expenditures every few years. The total funding required from Effingham County is $109,666.08 to be paid in 2 annual installments. The first installment of $54,833.04 is included in the approved fiscal year 18 budget. The second installment of $54,833.04 will be requested in the fiscal year 2019 budget. The county attorney has reviewed and approved the agreement, therefore staff recommend alternative 1. And if you have any questions, Clint Hodges, the email director, is here, and also Mr. Wade Britt from Savannah Communications.
I have a couple of quick ones. We've been making a payment, I would assume, currently, some nature.
The past 2 years were included in the 2014 upgrade we made. So this will be for the next 2 years.
So here's when I ask you this.
No,
Is it in the budget?
it says we've already budgeted the 54 for,
Okay. we
which
did
one
that.
do you know, since we already budgeted it, she already understood it, was already planned for it. It was in that 2014 contract, but we didn't spend so much at that time, we knew we were going to spend this there. I was actually heavily involved in this, so I actually know.
All right, and so you reviewed it, it's complete, it's everything we need.
Yes, sir, it is.
This will include all the capital additions we need for the next 2 years?
Yes, sir, on the radio actual infrastructure network, this includes the capital as well.
We don't have to change radios, they just upgrade them.
The radio infrastructure is basically a whole nother piece of it that we're looking at as a capital side. This is for the radio network itself. And if I can, Mr. Wade Britt, he's actually knows the exact technical side of it as well. Well, the radios and the infrastructure are actually 2 separate items. This keeps the radios operating.
Are we, this is a different issue, I guess, are we coming up with a need to replace our radios because of something?
The radios have reached, many of them have reached the end of their service life. That doesn't mean they're going to stop working. That's been a big question. They're not going to stop working. It's just going to become more difficult to receive parts over the years.
They're old.
Yeah.
Old.
So will we put together something for the near future as we start planning?
Yes, sir, we've included this within the current SPOS as well for some replacements.
All right, very good. So it's enough program.
Yes, sir, we've been working towards this.
Are any other questions or discussion? It's the alternative one is to approve the service agreement with Motorola Solutions. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve order number 1, second.
Motion, Mr. Loper, second by Mr. Kiefer. For alternative one, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 9, consideration to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Chatham, Libby, and Effingham counties and Live Oak Public Library.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I bring forward to you a contract with the Live Oaks Library Board, and this has been a long time in the works. We've been operating without an agreement. There's no new funding in this, but we had extensive review of this. It's been reviewed by the county attorney. The changes to protect the county to ensure that we control whether or not there's any new facilities or new costs can't be done without our consent. And therefore, we're recommending that you approve this. And obviously, our financials dealing with supporting the Live Oaks Public Library system is already in the budget, so there's no new funding. This is just an operational agreement that we have not had in place for the last year or so.
Okay, any questions or discussions from the on commission? Alternative one is to approve the MOU. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion, Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Deloach. To approve alternative number one, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And carries. Item number 10, consideration to approve a warranty deed between the Effingham County Industrial Development Authority and the Board of Commissioners of Effingham County to accept the infrastructure in the Effingham Industrial Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Annually, we take right-of-way possession of the Industrial Development Authority roads that they've developed. There are 6 roads in this warranty deed. It's been reviewed by the attorney. It's a standard procedure for maintaining these roads, which our Public Works Department does, and we recommend you approve the right-of-way purchase for these.
Any questions or discussions regarding taking the roads? Alternative one is to approve the warranty deed. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Jones to approve, second by Mr. Floyd. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. I just want to make a comment on that one. This is where we need to make sure we communicate with our IDA, and I will hopefully in the future, because we take these roads, they're going to have to be resurfaced and reworked, and sometimes these industries come in and they can pay the fair share of taxes sometimes. Yeah, we get caught holding the bill on that. Just something important to keep in mind. We could have road work and think about the pilots and the things that we need. There's a lot of roads out there. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to maintain those roads. A lot of big trucks on it. Just a comment. Item number 11.
Chairman, on this one, this is family members, my brothers.
So if you'll note that before I mention item number 11, Mr. Kiefer has recused himself and stepped away from the desk. And item number 11 is consideration to approve a limited warranty deed and a utility drainage detention and access easement agreed between the Effingham County Board of Commissioners and 21 South Properties, LLC, for property located at Highway 21 South near the road facility.
Mr. Chairman, this is the turning lanes into the new sports complex, and we're actually doing this after the fact, so I apologize for that, but the turning lanes are already there, but this was an agreement between 21 South Properties and the county apparently more than a year ago, but had never been passed by the board, and this makes it official and it's been reviewed by the attorney.
Very good. Any questions or discussions?
Just for an easement. Just for necessary.
It's just for an easement for the turning lanes into the sports complex, yes.
Allows us to put what we already have there. Any other question, discussion? And motion for alternative number 1, approve 1D.
Motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Willow, second by Mrs. Jones. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. And it's carried. Item number 12. Again, Mr. Keeper, Chair. And C. Item number 12 is consideration to approve a contract for civil engineering services, park engineering for the Fort Howard, Port Augusta Road intersection roundabout.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very needed project that we have state dollars on, and it was actually in our FY16 budget, LMAID fund, and we have to move on this project or those funds will lapse and we will lose approximately $150,000 with the LMAID dollars on it, but we have the design and everything in-house, but there was modifications that GDOT required before we could move forward on it. And these engineering services are to modify the current files that we have that we own here at the county that were done by the previous county engineer.
Mr. Davis, before your time here, some things have changed, and this is not what we agreed to. We agreed to anything that we spent money on that runabout, that was okay, but we were not going to put any more money in it because it no belongs to the county. It's part of Rankin. It had been annexed by Rankin. And that was agreement, and y'all all can remember it. Tulsa's here. We talked about it in this meeting here. So I don't think that we need to put any more money in it. That's in the city limits of Rankin. The whole thing is in the city limits of Rankin.
Well, that could be up for discussion, with the board if they don't want to put any more dollars toward it, but,
We need to go ahead and get it designed.
we have to,
We were talking from engineering, if it's wrong.
How much LMIG money do we lose if we don't?
150,000.
We could use that money somewhere else, couldn't we?
We're going to lose this, I understand.
That's correct. If we don't move on this before the end of the year, then we will lose the dollars.
Well, it should have been lived in differently somehow, but I understand that too. But that was agreement that we made, and Tulsa Allen was here when it was made, that it was agreement that any money that we had tied up in that project, we wouldn't charge Rankin for it, but any other money, then they would have to put it in there because it's annexed in the city of Rankin.
Well, this isn't the actual construction, this is just the design,
This is
and
just
then modifying the design so we can show the Department of Transportation
I
that we're
understand
moving
that
on.
part.
Well,
And even if,
What I'm saying, we weren't supposed to do that.
Well,
Any
I
money we
don't
already
recall
had
it.
in it.
Well, I don't recall it quite that way. I remember the first workshop I did, question was asked because Rankin was looking at annexing it then. And I remember us talking about that this was a safety issue and we need to move forward.
I understand
And
that.
have this done. Now, as far as the future funding, I'm with you. We can go back and look at how it's funded outside the 150. That can be a discussion we can have with Rankin and see if it can move forward or not. But to make sure we have the 150, to have this discussion in the future with Rankin, then we need to move forward and get this design complete. Does that make sense? Doesn't mean we have to commit to funding it, but we need to at least move forward for the safety of that area.
We talked about it, anything that we had in it, and now we're putting $24,000 in it. And that wasn't how we agreed.
LMIG, does it have to go to that project, or we can place it on other projects?
well, it's 2 years old and it's going to lapse. We possibly had an opportunity to move it prior, but at this point, we're either going to use it or lose it. And quite honestly, even if we don't pay for the construction, Commissioner Loper, if we don't have that $150,000 for the construction of it, the city of Rankin might not be able to do it. And I think it's a vital construction need for both your district and Commissioner Kiefer's district.
Okay, but I understand that. Well, let them pay the $20,000 and then they go ahead with it, and then they can use what we already got in it through SPOS.
Our design was incorrect. It's a safety issue for the citizens of our county. I think it needs to be taken
Well,
care of.
I was gonna say, and I philosophically agree, but I just, with the safety issue there, I'm just screaming for.
There's a lot of things that's unsafe.
There's been people killed over there.
We can't, huh?
There's been a death at that intersection.
We've had a couple there.
I know.
But we've had a bunch of unsafe.
deaths.
But what I'm saying, if Rankin didn't want to put money in it, then they shouldn't have annexed it, is what I'm saying. They should have waited to retain that, then they could have annexed it, but anyway.
Well, I guess my point is, the funding can be discussed in the future for the $20,000, keep from losing 150. You know, I'm entertaining the
They can pay the
motion.
$20,000 and still get one.
We don't have-
I don't care.
They may
We don't have time.
be willing to reimburse us that, but we don't have time to know that answer tonight. So for our vote and our decision, we have to decide, is it worth us going ahead and doing this to obtain that funds? Because those funds will not only help the city of Rankin, but the people that live in the city of Rankin are what's important.
I understand
It's
that.
not city versus county.
I use that intersection all the time. I understand that one.
And all the taxpayers in the county are heavily invested in the Grandview track right here, which I think this would be very beneficial. Again, I agree with you on the fund. I totally agree. I just, with the safety issue.
And the Grandview track
I
is a
just
track
see
that
it.
we
I
own.
drive every day.
I understand that too. I understand everything you said.
If we feel it's a safety issue on Fort Howard Road, do we feel there's a safety issue on Fort Howard Road? Number one. I think the answer is yes. If we feel there's a safety issue on Fort Howard Road and we can spend 20 and get 150 and try to help fix it, it's my opinion, my one vote would be in favor of doing that then.
Okay,
If there's no
are we-
safety issue, then don't do it. But just to fight over who should, you
Well,
know.
that can be a later discussion.
Okay? I want you to answer one question. We spend this $20,000 and we do that part of it, what comes next? And they come back, then they want us to build a roundabout, what we don't do. I understand the safety of it. I know two people, I don't know them, but there's been two people killed there since they did that. I use that intersection, it's very unsafe. I don't have no problem with it, but it's just the way that it's
I guess, Mr. Loper, I agree with you, what you said philosophically again. So that's a discussion we can have, but we won't be available to have that discussion if we don't get this moving.
But we can move this and then say, well, the rest of it's left up to you. We spend this $20,000, what the cost, pay for it, $150,000. From now on, it belongs to Rankin. Lock, stock, and barrel.
Well-
That's the only way I vote on it.
That to me is a later discussion of how it's
I
funded.
ain't worried about later, I don't need no later.
A lot of what you're saying, I agree with. I think it should be addressed in service delivery.
Yes.
I think it has to be addressed.
And we've talked
I
about,
don't
we've talked about
disagree.
addressing that service delivery, I don't remember those conversations, but we talked specifically about that.
I just hate to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's what it's like.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could get 2 points.
Okay.
First of all, I will follow whatever the will of the board is. If we're going to let that lapse, we can let the funding lapse. I mean, it's whatever the will of the
No, I've
board
already
is.
agreed to pay the $20,000 and get the $150,000 and then we cut it off. Then it's left up to Rankin to do the rest of it. What you fix to say, I've already agreed to.
Okay, well, I mean, I was going to address the future construction dollars as well.
Okay?
Basically, this project's been in the works for apparently for several years, way beyond my time. And that intersection isn't, the annexation is not final. Even though that you're discussing the Grandview property and all that, that annexation has not been finalized by the city of Rankin, first of all. Second of all, if, you know, again, it's the will of the committee. If they want to do that project, don't do that project, do it jointly with the city. It's completely up to the will of the board, but I felt like the county had invested a lot of time and energy into that way before the city of Rankin even thought about annexing the property. That was property that we own, so we could get infrastructure to it. So
at this moment, the annexation has not occurred.
that not that I'm aware of.
It's been okay? It's been okay?
We've approved it, just haven't been finalized.
We approved it, but they have not done it on their end.
If you have other questions, discussions, they can have more light.
So if there were an accident there today, the citizen that may need to sue an entity would be suing the county. We have the legal liability.
If it's not annexed.
All right. Any other discussion, questions? I won't cut anybody off for sure. I want everything to be understood. I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve alternative one.
Motion by Mr. Floyd to approve alternative one. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
Aye.
No?
No.
Okay. So we have Mr. Roper voting yes. Okay. Item number 13, travel. Consideration to approve the commissioners and staff travel for Effingham Day in Atlanta.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, as you're aware, this is an annual event held in Atlanta, hosted by the Chamber. This year it's going to be held on Monday, January 22nd. This event has been streamlined to a one-day event, which will begin at 10 a.m. with a legislative session and will end with a reception from 4:30 until 7. And I just need to know if it's all interested in entertaining.
Okay. You don't need to know tonight.
Not tonight.
But if you can let us know as soon as possible.
All we gotta do is okay it.
We're just going to approve the travel. Now, we have a motion to approve the travel alternative number one.
Make a motion to approve alternative number one.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Lotus, second by Mr. Deloach to approve alternative one. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that carries.
At some point,
Before we move to the staff report, we see Lily is out there today. Is he here? We just want to acknowledge you and thank you again for Joanne's service. She's a very special lady to many on this board, all on this board, and to this county as well. And we don't miss her greatly, but it's good to see you tonight. We appreciate you. And anything we can do for you in the future, please let us know.
And as you're aware, we plan to put a future item on the next upcoming agenda about trying to acknowledge and recognize and honor.
Not sure we can do enough to recognize and honor, but we will try. Appreciate you. All right, we're moving our staff reports and beginning with our administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, everyone's aware of the changes over at the IDA. Mr. Henry has resigned, and we have an interim CEO, Trey Wilkins, and he's here today with us. We're to point out, wish him luck during this transition. I know it's always interesting. The IDA has their Christmas party this Friday night, and he invited myself and all the board to attend. Unfortunately, I'll be in Athens, Georgia with, fortunately rather. Let me change that from unfortunately to fortunately. My daughter's graduating from the University of Georgia on Friday, so I'm very excited to be there for that. I'll be missing the Christmas party. Tomorrow morning, the Chamber has their Eggs and Issues breakfast down at the Career Academy, if any of you want to attend that. This week, we had an incident where we had a surprise inspection from the State Department of Agriculture at our animal shelter. I'm pleased to announce that we had no violations whatsoever throughout the shelter, and that was very bad. They did have a couple of recommendations dealing with the temperatures and getting a secondary heat source for some of the outdoor kennels, and we are doing that, and that'll be in place tomorrow. So, wanted to congratulate our animal shelter director on that. We are still actively working on our search for a county engineer. We had someone that was potentially interested and that fell through. We've also started the search for a new finance director. And we have multiple applicants on that, and hopefully several of you will be part of that, because I don't think that we can have a more integral hire than that position. So That'll be coming up over the next couple of weeks. The Atlas property out there and dealing with the water side, we don't have our water sampling results back yet, but we are actively doing the reclaiming items that we need out there with removing the structures and the foundations, as well as multiple loads of dirt. Our turf and ground superintendent is doing a fantastic job out there. We've had over 40 containers that we've already removed, and we probably have another 20 or 30 to go. But they're doing a lot of work out there, so I want to commend them on that. You have your financials in your folder there from the finance department, and I just want to say that our interim finance director is doing a fantastic job. We've had no hiccups, no delays in any of our accounts payable. We have reached out to our auditors to get our financial statements, and we should have that before the end of the year. So we make sure all of the balances and everything moving forward on that. One of the things that I found interesting in the financials there that you have, you will find that we've had a 15% increase in our SPLOS collections year over year, which is fantastic news, to the tune of almost $100,000 per month increase over last year. So the economy is coming back very strong, and our tax collections are doing very well. With the chamber, we have our legislative items that we're requesting. I'm requesting a study committee or a review of the port tax credit tier system. I think I've expressed to all of you that system. I've spoken with the IDA about that extensively, just so we can have some parity, because we're basically the incentives for Effingham County is much less than our surrounding counties. And to get some equality in that, we'll get a review, maybe some change to the formula so we can have some equality in that. That and RC, our zoning administrator, has been working very hard on a concept plan for our Grandview property. And we've been talking with the county attorney about potential professional services for real estate services, so we can start to market that property and get that money back into our reserves. So with that, this is our only meeting of the month, and I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And if I don't see you before then, if anyone's going out of town or not, I don't know, but I wish you the best, and we'll see you next month.
Any questions or discussion with Mr. Steve? Anyone on the board? Any of the staff reports?
No reports, Mr. Chairman. Just a reminder to the board that you are hosting an employee luncheon on Monday, beginning at 11:30. Your Christmas tax was
So that again?
the 18th, Monday,
11:30 to what time?
11:30 until 2.
All the food is being ordered tomorrow.
I have to leave off 1:30 because I had something already scheduled before they got switched on us, so.
You just don't want to wash the dishes.
That was my fault, by the way. I apologize. Changing the date.
Any other items from the commission?
I don't have anything. Okay.
Board, feel like, okay. We only have 5 minutes before our zoning, so I think it's probably better to take a 5-minute break, give you a restroom break, and then we'll come back and have executive session for the one after our zoning here. Okay? Take a 5-minute recess.
How'd you like that?
Go ahead and go back in session. It's exactly 6 o'clock. We have our public hearings. First item on the public hearing agenda is the planning board recommends approving an application by David McNeil, Sand Hill Holdings LLC, to rezone 252.72 acres located on Sand Hill Road from AR1 to I1 to operate a surface mine map number 277, parcel number 3 for the first district.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. McLeod of Sandy Holdings LLC is wishing to open up a surface mine on this 252 acre tract. I believe there's only about 40 acres of area that they plan to mine. There were some residents of the nearby subdivision here that the property is adjacent to. They were initially concerned with thinking the entire site would be mined. However, there's about 1,000 foot of wetlands between the back of these
And
lots.
you can really see it delineated there, can't you, very
Yes.
well right there? That's
Yes.
a lot of wet, yeah.
So they plan to mine this general area. The site plan they've submitted meets all the county guidelines, and they do have access directly to Sand Hill Road. And once it was known that the residents of that buffer that would be between them, they had no issue with that. So that being said, staff and planning board would recommend approval.
Okay. Is anyone here speaking for this rezoning?
Yes, sir. First, I'd like to thank everyone for their time. My name is Justin Osteen. I'm working with Dave McLeod and Sandy Holdings LLC, the property owners. And exactly as I tell you, that's our what we'd like to do. Put in a service mine to produce concrete sand and keep there'd be a huge buffer between us and any residents. And we'll be producing concrete sand. We'll be processing it. Of course, we'll follow all local, state, and federal guidelines. And we'll be that's what we'd like to do.
Help me understand the surface mining. How deep can you go with the surface mining?
It depends on how deep the material is there, but we're expecting to go at the deepest point 45 feet, but more likely around 20, 25 feet.
So would there be a lot of dirt mounded up? And this surface mining, they're required to bring that when it's complete, bring it back to appropriate grades? And
Yes, there's state mining regulations that once they completed mining the site, they have to reclaim it back and have slope, 3-to-1 slopes on the bank.
so if we approve it tonight, that's all understood, that it would be, when it's completed, it'd be sloped 3-to-1.
Yes, sir, there's state inspectors that would come and inspect.
We would have to put up a bond through the EPD, and then to ensure that the reclamation process would be completed. It would be sloped, grassed, 3-to-1 to an engineered depth to meet all their regulations. Anything in the state of Georgia over 1.1 acres has to have an EPD surface mining permit, and they would have to put up a bond to ensure that, and it's regulated by them.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. Anyone else wanting to speak for this tonight? Anyone here speaking against this rezoning? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing on this item.
All right, thank you very much.
Is there any questions or discussions from anyone on the board? Okay, well, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the planning board staff recommendations.
Motion by Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Kiefer to approve staff planning board recommendations. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. It carries. I need to turn that back off while I do it. It was hot earlier. Second reading, consideration to approve the second reading of an application by David McLeod.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow.
Scott? I know how you spell cloud.
That's how you do it.
L-E-O-D is loud?
That's in Scotland, that's how they do it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that, I got it. All right, by David McLeod, Sandy Holdings LLC, to rezone 252.72 acres located on Sand Hill Road from AR1 to I1 to operate a surface mine map number 277, parcel number 3 in the first district. Is there a motion for the second reading?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Motion Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Deloach to approve the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. Mr. McLeod, you have it.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much. Strange spelling of the name, but.
Hey, you spelled it right, that's
All right, item number 3, to open the public hearing for the planning board recommends approving of an application by Beacon Builders for a variance to reduce the front setbacks from 25 to 20 feet located at 100 Shetland Court map, 376D, parcel number 193 in the first district.
Mr. Chairman, these next two items before you are two adjacent properties. Beacon Builders had submitted site plans when they applied for the building permits. Staff inadvertently signed off on the site plan with them showing a 20-foot front setback. And since moved forward with forming the foundations, my understanding is they have not poured concrete yet. However, they have the time to apply for this variance rather than move everything. All the work they've done thus far. There was no neighbors in opposition at the planning board meeting, and staff and planning board have recommended approval.
Okay, very good. Anyone else here speaking for this variance tonight? Anyone intended speaking against this variance tonight? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and see if there's any questions from anyone in the commission. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to approve the variance.
Make a motion to approve the variance.
Second. Motion by Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Local to approve the variance. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And it carries. Second reading, consideration to approve a second reading of an application by Beacon Builders for a variance to reduce front setbacks from 25 feet to 20 feet located at 100 Shetland Court, map number 376D, parcel 193 in the first district.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Kiefer to approve the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. Item number 5, we'll open the public hearing on number 5. The planning board recommends approving the application by Beacon Builders for variance to reduce the front setbacks from 25 to 20 feet located at 102 Shetland Court map, possibly 76D, number 194 in the first district. I assume it's the same information.
Yes, sir. Just the adjacent lot number 194.
All right. Is anyone here speaking for this variance? Anyone present speaking against this variance? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the variance?
Make a motion to approve the variance.
Second.
Motion Mr. Floyd, second Mr. Kiefer to approve this variance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. Item number 6, the second reading, consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Beacon Builders for a variance to reduce the front setbacks from 25 to 20 feet located at 102 Shetland Court, map number 376D, parcel number 194 in the first district. Do I have a motion for the second reading?
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second. Motion Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Local to approve the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the second reading is approved. We'll open the public hearing on the planning board's recommendation of approving the application by Tina Coburn to rezone 5.02 acres located at 1560 Old Augusta Road north from AR1 to AR2 to combine with an adjacent parcel, map number 334, parcel number 8 in the 3rd district.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Coburn is in the process of acquiring this parcel that goes all the way back to the river from her aunt. She owns the property directly in front of it, which is currently zoned AR1, or AR2, excuse me. But she'd like to combine that lot on the river with her existing lot and rezoning the AR2. The request to rezone the AR2 staff and planning board recommend approval.
Anyone tonight speaking for this rezone? State your name, share with us what you'd like.
Tina Coburn. It's just family property. We're trying to get it all back in one piece.
It's one narrow piece of property.
Very.
Anyone else speaking for? Anyone here tonight present speaking against this rezoning? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Do we have a motion to approve the rezoning from AR1 to AR2?
Make a motion to approve the planning board and staff recommendations.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Deloach, second Mr. Loper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Any carries. Item number 9, the second reading. Planning board recommends approving an application by Roger Burdette. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped it. Number 8. Consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Tina Coburn to rezone 5.02 acres located at 1560 Old Augusta Road, north from AR1 to AR2 to combine with an adjacent parcel, map number 334, parcel number 8 in the 3rd district.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Deloach, second by Mr. Loper to approve the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. Now we'll do number 9, open a public hearing. Planning board recommends approving the application by Roger Burdette, Sovereign Resources LLC, to rezone 11 plus acres of a 22.85 acre parcel located at Commerce Drive from I-1/B3 to I-1 to operate a trucking facility map 466C, parcel 1C in the 5th district.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Burdette recently acquired this property and wishes to operate a trucking facility on it. However, in the past, prior to the industrial park being in place, a rezoning happened that buffered the northbound lane of Highway 21 1,000 feet and rezoned that to B3. Then when the industrial park came in, anything beyond that 1,000 feet was zoned industrial. However, his property, this line you see here, is a 1,000-foot buffer off of Highway 21. So this is the portion Mr. Burdette is wishing to rezone, which is 11 acres plus or minus. This back triangle-shaped piece is I-1.
That's already out of what he just wants to rezone the front part and match the back part.
Yes, sir. Staff and planning board have recommended approval.
Okay, anyone tonight like to speak for this rezoning?
Roger Burdette. And just trying to combine it into one zoning to be fluid. It's really good.
Anyone else speaking for this rezoning tonight? Anyone present speaking against this rezoning tonight? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone on the commission?
Make a motion to approve planning board and staff recommendations.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Deloach, to approve planning board and staff recommendations. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. So we'll have the second reading on number 10. Consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Roger Burdette, Sovereign Resources LLC, to rezone 11 plus acres of a 22.85 acre parcel located at Commerce Drive from I-1/B3 to I-1 to operate a trucking facility map number 466C, parcel 1C in the 5th district.
Make a motion to approve second reading.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Deloach, to approve the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. Okay. Item number 11, open a public hearing on planning board's recommendation. We just did that. Oh, this is it. Planning board's recommendation approving an application by Roger Burdette, Sovereign Resources LLC, for a variance to eliminate required buffer located at Commerce Drive, map number 466C, parcel 1C in the 5th district.
Mr. Chairman, this item is on the same property you just approved the rezoning for. Mr. Burdette is requesting to eliminate the buffer requirement. Most, as it's in the the rest of the industrial park. There have been no buffers enforced. I believe the reasoning of that is we don't, at the time these properties were developed, we did not have a buffer ordinance like we have today. However, he would like to be offered the same use of his property as the other neighbors in the industrial park, and he does have this portion that's cleared right here is underneath a power line. It's highly unlikely the power company would allow him to put any type of trees or plantings in that power line right away. He intends to use it as a parking area for his trucking facility. Staff and planning board have recommended approval.
Anyone else want to speak for this rezoning, this variance tonight?
Just the front part of the property, really, there's no other use in parking because of the utilities and the easements through there. The buffer, even if it was enforced, wouldn't allow for any vegetation to grow up under it. So that's right. I think maybe it was done a long time ago and with different intentions.
Anyone else speaking for this variance tonight? Anyone here speaking against this variance? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone on the board?
Make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Deloach to approve the request. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Second reading, consideration to approve the second reading of an application by Roger Burdette, Sovereign Resources LLC for a variance to eliminate the required buffer located at Commerce Drive, map number 466C, parcel number 1C in the 5th District. Motion.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second. Motion by Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Lopez to approve the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. I believe that concludes our public hearing tonight, and I believe we have a need for executive session.
We do.
Look at the agreement. Got a motion for an executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personal property and pending litigation.
Second. The motion, Mr. Kiefer, second by Mr. Deloach, to go into executive session. Discuss personnel, property, and pending litigation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are in executive session. We have a motion to go back into, I'm going to pen back.
Speaking of that.
Here, Mayor.
That was impressive.
Wasn't ready. Back in there.
Use left hand.
Good kiss.
Okay, do I have a motion to go back in executive, back in regular session?
Make a motion to go back to regular session.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Deloach, second by Mr. Lopez, to go back into regular session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And it carries. I don't see the other items, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, executive session minutes.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, did I miss that? I sure did. All right. We have a motion to approve the executive session minutes from November 21st.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Mr. Deloach, second by Mr. Floyd to approve executive session minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that carries. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
First, Mr. Weathers, second, Mr. Loach, to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And we are adjourned.